Rain pours heavily. Cars speed by on a lonely road. A small, shivering dog hides under a broken bench, drenched and frightened. Everyone passes, ignoring it, until one car slows down. Mike, a middle-aged mechanic with tired eyes and a soft heart, grips the steering wheel. His windshield wipers fight the storm, barely keeping the view clear. He's on his way home from a long day at the shop when he spots a dark shape curled up beside the curb. He squints. It's not trash. It's moving. For a moment, he hesitates. His gas light blinks, his clothes are soaked, and it's late. But something in him won't let him drive on. He pulls over, steps out, and the rain instantly soaks through his jacket. "Hey there, buddy," he calls softly, crouching down. The dog lifts its head, muddy fur, pleading eyes, and a trembling body. A flash of lightning cuts through the sky. The poor animal flinches, backing away. Mike sighs. "Easy now. I'm not going to hurt you." Behind him, cars keep rushing past, their tires spraying water. But in that storm, one man kneels beside a stray no one else would stop for. Two souls, both tired, meeting under the rain. The rain kept pounding, drumming against the hood of Mike's old truck. The dog trembled harder, staring at him with cautious eyes, half hope, half fear. Its ribs showed through its wet coat. Mike slowly reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a half-eaten sandwich he'd saved from lunch. "You hungry, boy?" he said softly, breaking the bread and holding a piece out. The dog hesitated, sniffed the air, and inched closer. But when a car honked nearby, it startled and stumbled back into a puddle. Mike waited patiently, crouched low, rain soaking his jeans. "It's okay. I got you," he whispered. Minutes passed. The world around them blurred in the storm, streetlights glowing like ghosts through the rain. Finally, the dog crept forward, snatched the food, and stayed. Mike smiled. "That's it. You're safe now." He gently reached for its collar, but there was none. Just matted fur and an old rope tied loosely around its neck. Whoever owned this dog had long stopped caring. Mike's heart tightened. He removed the rope, tossed it aside, and whispered, "No one's gonna hurt you anymore." For the first time that night, the dog didn't flinch. It looked up, trust flickering through fear. Mike opened the passenger door and gestured for the dog to come closer. "Come on, boy. It's warm inside." The dog hesitated, pawing at the wet ground, unsure whether to trust this stranger. Another crash of thunder shook the air, and instinct took over. It jumped into the truck, curling tightly on the seat, dripping and shivering. Mike smiled faintly, brushing water off his face. "Smart choice," he muttered, starting the engine. The heater blew warm air, fogging the windows as they drove through the quiet Seattle streets. Every few minutes, Mike glanced at the dog beside him. There was something haunting in those brown eyes. Loneliness that felt too familiar. He remembered when his wife left years ago, leaving him with an empty house and too many quiet nights. Maybe that's why this broken creature stirred something deep inside him. At a red light, he reached over, gently rubbing the dog's head. "We'll get you dry, buddy. Promise." The dog sighed softly, resting its head on the seat, eyes closing for the first time that night. As the rain slowed to a drizzle, two souls who had lost everything drove home together, both unaware that this night would change their lives forever. Mike parked in front of his small, weathered house at the edge of town. The rain had softened to a mist, the streetlights shimmering on the wet pavement. He opened the door and called softly, "Come on, boy." The dog hesitated, then followed him inside, leaving muddy paw prints on the floor. Mike didn't mind. He grabbed a towel from the bathroom and knelt beside him, gently drying the soaked fur. "You've been through hell, huh?" he murmured. The dog looked up, tail wagging slightly for the first time. Mike smiled. "Yeah, we'll fix that." He found an old blanket and laid it by the heater. The dog curled up instantly, sighing as warmth filled the room. Mike sat on the couch, watching quietly. "You need a name," he said after a while. "How about Cooper?" The dog lifted its head at the sound, ears twitching as if he understood. Mike chuckled. "Cooper it is." For the first time in months, Mike didn't feel alone. The ticking clock, the hum of the heater, and the gentle breathing of the dog filled the silence that once haunted his nights. Outside, the rain stopped completely, as if giving them both a new start. Over the next few days, the house that once echoed with silence came alive. Cooper followed Mike everywhere, into the kitchen, the garage, even to the porch when Mike drank his morning coffee. At first, Cooper was cautious. Loud noises made him flinch. Sudden movements made him retreat. But Mike never rushed him. He spoke softly, offered food with open hands, and left the back door open whenever Cooper wanted space. By the end of the week, Cooper began to trust. He'd wag his tail when Mike returned from work, sometimes carrying one of Mike's old boots in his mouth as if presenting a gift. "Guess you're trying to pay rent, huh?" Mike joked, scratching behind his ears. In the evenings, Mike would toss a ball across the yard, and Cooper, still limping from an old injury, would chase it, tail high, eyes bright with life again. Neighbors began to notice. Mrs. Reynolds from across the street smiled one morning and said, "It's good to see you smiling again, Mike. That dog did something to you." Mike looked down at Cooper, who barked once in agreement. "Yeah," he said softly. "He reminded me what kindness feels like." One chilly morning, Mike noticed Cooper wasn't his usual playful self. He refused breakfast, whimpered when standing, and his tail drooped low. "Hey, buddy, what's wrong?" He knelt beside him, worry edged on his face. Cooper's breathing was shallow, and when Mike touched his side, the dog flinched in pain. Without a second thought, Mike grabbed his car keys. "Hang in there, Coop. We're going to the vet." At the small clinic downtown, the vet, a kind woman named Dr. Lawson, examined Cooper carefully. After several tests, she sighed, removing her glasses. "Mike," she said gently, "this dog's been through severe neglect. He has an infection and signs of old injuries. He's dehydrated and malnourished. We'll do what we can, but it won't be easy." Mike swallowed hard. "Do whatever it takes. Just save him." Dr. Lawson nodded. "We'll start treatment right away." As Cooper was taken into the back room, Mike stood there, rain streaking the clinic window outside. His heart tightened with fear. He hadn't realized how much this dog had come to mean to him until now. He whispered to himself, "You're not alone anymore, Cooper. I won't leave you like everyone else did." The rain returned that night, light but steady, tapping on the windows like a clock counting down time. Mike sat by the fireplace, still wearing his jacket, staring at Cooper's empty blanket. Every sound from the storm outside echoed his thoughts. He couldn't stop replaying the vet's words, "It won't be easy." He tried to distract himself by fixing an old motorcycle in the garage, but his hands shook too much to hold a wrench. After an hour, he gave up, poured himself a cup of coffee, and sat back down. On the table lay Cooper's collar, the one Dr. Lawson had removed before treatment. Mike picked it up, rubbing his thumb over the metal tag he'd added just 2 days ago. Cooper. Loved and safe. For years, Mike had lived alone, believing some people weren't meant for companionship. But now, staring at that collar, he realized how wrong he'd been. He whispered into the empty room, "You're gonna make it, boy. You have to." Outside, the rain fell harder. The night stretched on endlessly, one man waiting for the only friend who had brought light back into his life. Morning light crept through the blinds when Mike's phone finally rang. His heart jumped as he saw the vet's number. "Mike, it's Dr. Lawson." Her voice came softly. "Cooper made it through the night. He's weak, but he's responding to treatment. You can come see him." Mike exhaled deeply, a sound that was half a laugh and half a sob. "Thank you, Doc. I'll be right there." Minutes later, he walked into the clinic. Cooper lay on a soft blanket, a small IV hooked to his paw, eyes half open but alive. When he saw Mike, his tail